Good afternoon, everyone. Shanna with Apogee the Moon. And this is a little late, and I do apologize for that. There's just some crazy stuff going on at the moment. So, yep, crazy stuff. And we'll get into that too. So I will share my screen, just like I do every week, and we'll jump in. If I can find my screen here. There we go. Okay, so this week, is the first week, 7 days after the new moon that we just had, that really kind of crazy, beautiful new moon in Virgo that we just had. And now we're hitting the first quarter square on September 13th, and that's at 21 degrees of Virgo and Sagittarius. On the 14th, we will have the sun opposing Neptune, Mars and Mars entering Libra on the same day. And then on the 16th, we will have the sun in trine with Pluto and Venus squaring Saturn. So there's a lot of really interesting energy this week. And so when you hit the first quarter square of, just after any new moon, it's usually a time of action. It's a time of implementation. It's a time to kind of see what the intentions that you had were at the new moon and start to take those steps towards achieving those goals, right? So it might take a full lunar cycle. It might take, 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 18 months. So it could definitely run, the gambit there of length of time. It just depends on you, right? It depends on where you are, what you have going on, and how long and how many steps it's going to take to implement what it is that you're trying to implement. Because this new moon was in trine with Uranus, this could be really quick. This could just take till the full moon to implement, or it could be quick in the sense that it's only going to take 6 months to completely revolutionize and change your life at that very deep core level from this new moon that we just had in Virgo. So, it could be something simple like that, but this is definitely because of where the eclipses are happening, right? Because the eclipses and the nodes are in Gemini and Sagittarius. These are two other mutable signs. This is us letting go of, a lot of things Sagittarian. This is letting go of specific types of education. This is letting go of specific types of teachers, specific types of ways of looking at the world, and moving more towards a dynamic, more local way of living as well, because Gemini is, your local community. And when I say local community, I don't just mean the town that you live in. It could be the state that you live in, right? It could be the region of the country that you're living in, right? It could be the county, it could be the region. It doesn't have to just be the specific town that you live in. That's not what community is. It's a little bit bigger than that, right? So, this first quarter square coming exact at 21 degrees of Virgo and Sagittarius, squaring and opposing the Gemini eclipse from this past spring, right? That we had at 19 degrees of Gemini. And so what can be made manifest, and how can this show up for us? The sun is in another Mercury ruled sign, and here in Virgo, the sun squaring the eclipse point can see us taking action in a very practical way, and putting the groundwork and or busy work, right? Because Virgo is a busy sign, believe it or not. It's my teacher, Heather, with astrologywithheather.com, she likes to say that Virgo is the least earth sign of all the earth signs, because it's ruled by Mercury, because it's a busy sign. And so it's very interesting to look at it that way. And if you think the time of year that we're coming into the harvest season. We're coming into when, things need to be preserved. Things are coming ripe and ready. And for the harvest itself, that's a very busy time, and especially a busy time for farmers, right? And so this is a time to put away, put up stock of all of your canned goods, pull stuff out of the garden, wash them, blanch them, put them, freeze them if that's applicable, can them, to preserve them longer than just 6 months, things like that. So it's a very busy time of year anyway, just in general. And so, how can we make manifest from this eclipse season, this last eclipse season before we hit the next one? Can this show up for us? The sun is in Virgo, squaring the eclipse points here, and it's seemingly fated, the events that are unfolding now. What hand of destiny are you taking hold of to level up in the current paradigm that you find yourself in? And what practical next right steps can you take in order to move forward in this whole new paradigm now? Now on the 14th, I've talked that to death, so we're just going to leave that the way it is. On the 14th, we will have the sun opposing Neptune, not the greatest energy in the world. And we will have Mars entering Libra on the same day. And Mars is going to really kind of take on a little bit of a different flavor here in Libra versus Virgo. So Mars enters Libra with the sun opposing Neptune at the same degree of this first quarter square. And it's really kind of imperative that we look at and become very clear and very conscious of what it is that we want to manifest and create, right? As with all things opposing Neptune, it can be really murky, really kind of muddy, really kind of confusing and confounding and what the hell kind of energy. But if we ourselves are very clear about what it is, especially with the sun in Virgo, very clear, very concise, very logical and practical, we can co-create with this. We can co-create in a very profound, very practical way. And we can find that if we are clear and certain in our actions that we're taking, we can manifest faster and more accurately, more precisely with the sun, especially with the sun in Virgo. So Neptune can also be a planet of miracles and manifestations, but you have to be precise. You have to make sure that you are crystal clear in what it is that you want to manifest. Now, with Mars entering Libra, this is the sign of its fall. This can see social justice warriors taking up arms, no matter what side you fall on. This is social justice energy, and I can speak to this because I will be having my Mars return here in a few weeks because my Mars is in Libra as well. Anything that has become unbalanced, anything that has become unfair, unjust, unruly, people will stand up with Mars in Libra for the people. And I'm going to be very clear on this. Mars in Libra will see those standing up for people that do not have a voice themselves or cannot stand up for themselves. End of story. Mars and Libra people are the people in general, as a general energy for everyone involved, but especially for people that also have their natal Mars in Libra. This is a time to stand up for what is right, what is just, what is true, what is balanced, what is fair. End of story. That's what this Mars is. And so, if anyone is being martyred, used, abused, unjustly treated, this energy with Mars here in Libra can see people taking a stance and fighting back. You know, justice is served and retribution is taken. And that's what Mars in Libra is about. It's about justice and retribution. You know, with this transit, we can definitely see some very interesting developments with relationships as well, because, you know, this is a relationship sign. This is a Venus ruled sign. You know, Mars is now in a Venus ruled sign, and Mars has to weigh out the pros and the cons of their actions. And so, is this right? Is this true? Is this just? Is this fair? And is this balanced? That's what Mars is about. And I've killed that to death. So we'll keep going here. So on the 16th, we will have the sun in trine with Pluto. And so the sun, you know, is the sun in trine with Pluto is actually a really nice energy for manifesting as well. And for being very clear, very focused, very practical, very precise and concise with what it is you want to lay the foundations for over the long term. So the sun at 24 degrees is also squaring the eclipse from December of 2020. So what was going on then that needs to be honed, refined, looked at, and focused on, and what else needs to be destroyed, because Pluto does destroy, in order to get to the very bottom of what it is at the ground level you are trying to build for yourself as a foundation of the future that you are manifesting and co-creating in your own personal life. So engagement in your life, engagement in your destiny, engagement in general is very needed right now, more than ever. September 17th, we do have Venus squaring Saturn. And so this is a very frustrating energy, you know, because Saturn is restrictions, limitations, delays. Saturn says no, right? And Venus is a planet of, it wants to connect. It wants to, you know, here in Scorpio, it's definitely a very interesting energy as well. So it can be very intense and feel as though we are butting up against a brick wall. You know, Saturn is slowing down to go direct in less than a month from this point. Both signs, Scorpio and Aquarius, are fixed. They do not want to budge. They are like dogs with bones. They hold on to things long past their expiration date. When it's dead, decaying, rotting, you know, just let it go. But they're fixed signs. They don't like to let things go. So Venus in this sign in Scorpio wants to focus on truly what is truly and madly and deeply important to themselves. And Saturn is fixated on the subjugation and squeezing out of the masses anything that is different or unique about any of us. Yeah. We can feel like we're at odds within ourselves because we just cannot seem to get deeper into what it is others need, want, or desire from us, and reverse that as well. Our own appetites are changing and getting deeper, and we are opting for more refined, honed in, focused, and really only value the truest essence of our relationships, our friendships, what we do with our money, our materials, you know, how we value others as well, because Scorpio likes to focus on others. So that's what I have for the general forecast. And so that's what I have for next week. I'm actually not going to go into all 12 signs because I kind of don't have a lot of time today, and I just wanted to get this general message out. But we are, you know, this is a manifestation point. This is a very powerful manifestation point. And so that being said, what is it that we're manifesting? What is it that we can stand up for? What is it, can we not stand any longer? And what truly needs to change? Because after Venus squares Saturn, she will be opposing Uranus in Taurus. And so this is going to be a very interesting opposition, and we're going to be outside of the box. It's going to come from left field. There's going to be a need to balance some things after this week. But this week specifically, it's like we see what we want to manifest, we understand what we want to manifest, we understand what we can no longer tolerate, we understand, you know, where we need to take action in relation to what it is that we want to do. And then we hit a wall and we hit a roadblock. So definitely be aware of that this week, in your own lives, in your own way, however that's manifesting for you. I definitely know how it's manifesting for me, and it's going to be very interesting. So I hope that you understand that this energy is starting to heat up, is starting to get intense, and it's going to get even more intense as we hit October, November, and December. So just be aware that this energy is going to be inflammatory. There will definitely be some changes that need to be made, some radical decisions. And yeah, I wish everyone the best. I really do. So on that note, I will say I bid you adieu until next week. And I should be back with my regular all 12 sign forecast next week. So I hope that you all have a great week as much as you can. And yeah, stay safe. Stay safe. Ciao.